Okay, so yep. This is also Japanese only, obviously. We'll let the intro play out once, since it's just conveniently timed that way, and then we will start the run, so last call for bets, etc. And yes, this intro is identical to Rebirth 1. Well, we can do free, but free would be... I've got 8 settings, 6 was what it started as, that was way too loud. This is free. I'm just a bit worried that I won't be able to talk over free.
Hey Chad, can you tell me what the difference between Rebirth 1 and Rebirth Plus is? Anyways, good luck to Mom.
Alright, so I might still be a bit quiet compared to the game. If that's the case, then I will just turn it back down to volume 2. So let me know. But otherwise I think we'll just get the run underway, so I'll type out the bit start, because this isn't a PC game, so I can start it at the right time. And we will quickly make sure I can see the splits. So, and then going... So, okay, Rebirth 1 Plus. This is essentially the new game with DLC run of Rebirth 1, except with even easier certain parts. Because we can get some extra characters that are kind of OP in Chapter 2. And by kind of I mean a lot OP. All the DLC is already in game, so there is no new game with DLC or without DLC distinction here. So because we can get OP characters in Chapter 2, we're not even going to bother menuing any combos. We're just going to go straight for Virtual Forest. Also, every cutscene is considerably faster in the PC version, even compared to a beast PC. So I'm going to complete this run in not that much more than the guys did Rebirth 1 New Game Plus earlier. Should ideally be less than 10 minutes longer. Yeah, like we said, just run straight forward. No combos. The default combos are just good enough. Yeah, I'll just slice. Yeah, the overpowered characters are the oracles. They're not so great in attack, they do still take a few turns to kill things. I mean, obviously they're still a lot better than what we have right now, but in attack they kind of fall short, and that especially shows itself in Chapter 3, and then Chapter 4 as well. But in Chapter 2 they pretty much just delete the bosses off the map. And same deal with this flower. I need to not forget the life fragments, because this is basically the only life fragments I get for the whole game. That would help. So it's like this, but okay. Flower we need to be careful of because he can run right into the event marker. Okay, so yeah, obviously we've got the Nip Stampede following me around. The name is appropriate because they are loud, and I'm eventually going to go pre-cutting members, obviously. They cannot be hit by the enemies. So they're just there for show, really. That's the same as in VIR. They kind of just backported a few features from other games to this game and called it a improvement. Okay, no, okay. You're also going to notice that in this version, in the Japanese text, the quest that you need to progress the game is actually marked properly. In the English localization of Rebirth 1 in particular, they forgot to put the marking before that quest. So you have to find it by looking for the no icon instead. But in this game there's a marking in the name, like there's meant to be, for compulsory quests. Right, so as is going to be the case with pretty much every boss, the boss will move first, then we'll hopefully kill it in one turn before it moves again. Comp will use a break combo, use a skill and use a skill, and then you go. So that's pretty easy. And story-wise there is absolutely no difference. The new characters don't even figure into the story. They have absolutely no events other than when you recruit them, and their event there is like 2 or 3 sentences. So you can see that this is a very high budget improvement. So yeah, we absolutely wrecked the carbon and grab the also on Neptunia as usual. So yeah, now I have the full Net Stampede with Net, Compa and IF. This will be the last you see of Compa and IF. So enjoy them while they're here for not very much longer. I am going to use Neptune later, but only very later. Like quite a while from now. Okay, so here we see what the guy does. He's the only one that sees. He runs too far away from him and we just kill him with Neptune. That's a good that time. The 3 ghosts will always be next to each other because I outspeeds them. Then we group these two together, she pretty much always kills them together. We group them together so that they can get AoE'd like that, although it is still random. Also Zephyrus, if you can adjust the schedule so that we're actually on Rebirth 1 boss, that will help. Not a huge deal, but
Yeah, I hear you.
so, just spread out. Basically use cross combo this turn. When she's got broken we can use more and it'll do a little bit of damage, not a lot, because R4 is quite strong magically. But no deaths, not that it matters. I don't really care at all about what my character's levels are at this point, because I'm not going to use these characters again for a very long time. So Neptune is like... Yeah, okay, so that's chapter 1 in the books in under 7 minutes. Too bad. Pretty slow compared to my PV, but it's not a bad time compared to say Rebirth 1. But we'll see a lot of it. This game will quickly blow Rebirth 1 out of the water. Okay, my D-pad is glitching, so I gotta replug in my controller quick. It does this sometimes. I just have to replug the controller when it happens. So I recruit the oracles for use now and Plutia for use later. And then I go back here. No need for any of the other characters. the Oracles and Plutia will do for the rest of the game, other than Histoire, but I can't get Histoire until chapter 7. Yeah, unfortunately my controller doesn't like this game very much. So I get that D-pad glitch and lose a bit of time each time it happens.
Answer a few questions. For Rebirth 1 Plus, they give you all the DLCs from 1 and 2, so you get all of those. And just like the mom stated earlier, you do have Nep Stampede, which is in the UR.
Okay, so we gotta grab the weakened enemies player. And then we gotta get the... We still gotta get weakened enemies because it does save quite a considerable amount of time even with this OP DLC. So I need to set up the usual way to get weakened enemies. That's a herb, so let's reset the dungeon. That's another herb, so I need to reset the dungeon. The coin slip is where I get the herb or the other one. That's another herb. Also, for anyone wondering, I do not speak a lick of Japanese, I just memorize what the characters look like for the important things, and memorize positions for other things. That's 4 or 5 herbs in a row now. Very nice RNG to begin this run. It's not that I need the item that comes out of that drop point, I need to know what drop table I'm on so that I can get the mysterious flying objects later on in the dungeon. So now we're going to fight these enemies. Now I can spam my skills because I'm going to level up after every battle. Yeah, I got the mysterious flying objects already, I think. I'm going to look now. Yeah, I did, so I don't even need to put the point in the end. Now I can just barrel through to the boss. Okay, that enemy was hugging the wall. This game has weird traits of enemies hugging the wall. Sometimes they don't let you pass when they were in the one for whatever reason. You'll see that later as well when you'll see that later when I get to chapter 7, I won't be able to hug the wall safely. But in Rebirth 1 you can pretty much always hug the wall and it's safe. In this game, for some reason, the enemies just get a tiny bit closer to the wall, and so they can encounter you even when you're hugging the wall. Okay, so it's really just skill spam for a while, because most of these enemies are very, very free with these OP characters. And the main problem is missing, because my characters might have really high offense and defense stats, but their agi and their tech is terrible. Especially Chica, who has like minus tech on her accessories, on her gear. So I just have to get lucky basically, and hope to hit. Also, Japanese death rates are really long. That's a recurring theme throughout run as well. And yeah, there is no cash grind. There isn't a cash grind in Rebirth 1 Plus, or Rebirth 1 with DLC either, to be fair, but it's for a different reason in this game. In Rebirth 1 with DLC you get a ton of free items that you can sell to replace the cash grind. In this game, your characters are just OP enough that you can survive long enough that cash doesn't become an issue. And D-pad is so uncooperative today. Okay, I'm just gonna not use it as long as I can. This is just getting stupid. Like, I don't want to have to reset it twice in 12 minutes. Get out of here. I mean, I'll go and reset it while I'm in the middle of a cutscene, so it's less of an issue. But yeah, every button works except for the D-pad right now, which is absolutely amazing. And now it's working again, so just not working, it's fine. I'll swap controllers if I have to. This is stupid. I'm not sure if it's a bug with the game or with the controller, because I don't really get this bug on any other game. but it does seem to fix itself whenever I unplug and replug the controller. So for anyone who had like a really optimistic estimate of me PBing, that's pretty much out the window now. Because too many D-pad glitches already. I'm already like 2 minutes behind. Oh, and to clarify, the PB that we're comparing against is 106. But yeah, every enemy's still kind of outspeedy for the most part. So, with these multiple enemies, we'll try and hit them with combos. Show you some skills. The guy broken. And then big guy we can just take out with enough skills. But they actually have really low SP as well. So, only use so many skills. Kay's the only one who can use 3 skills, the other 2 can only use 3. So, yeah. This will basically be a game of I'll play until I get to a menu or the overworld, and then my D-pad will be broken again and I'll have to replug the controller. So at some point I might just swap controllers, but we'll see. It's a really easy run for at least the first 4 chapters, so hopefully it won't be that big of a deal. And the rest of the controller is still working fine for the most part. Just the D-pad on this one game that glitches out. Okay, so this guy, again, a very big troll because of misses. At least as far as trolls go in this game. This guy has a tech debuff. And if you wonder why I didn't pick up the other characters, other than it taking a little bit of time to pick up each character, it would also create a whole bunch more level ups at the end of each battle. So I obviously don't want that. You can also see me absolutely rocketing through cutscenes compared to what you'd have in Rebirth. Okay, well I got away with it that time. So, no access to eject buttons. Meaning we have to just do this extra fight. Not that there's any huge concern. But an extra battle's an extra battle. There's no real capacity to skip this battle in any new game category, it's only a new game plus skip. And yes, obviously we would hope that they would add full cutscene skip to this game, but it is kind of a low budget remake, so probably too much to expect. It's just very small amount of things added in. Just looking for where my other controller is. I'll grab it if I have to replug the controller again. I think I've seen it though. Okay, so at this point the enemies are definitely starting to get pretty tough. Tough to kill with all my SP. It's very likely that I'll have to use some combos. And the combos kind of suck, so... Got lucky enough there to not have to use combos on that one. Like Killer Sheen coming up is almost certainly going to have to use some combos. We'll still be getting out of Chapter 2 at a pretty good pace for a New Game Plus on Rebirth 1 though, to be fair. You would still be a bit behind like World Record and such, but it wouldn't be a bad time to get out of Killer Sheen in 16 minutes. Okay, I'm out of XP already on this. Take it. Or would get one more skill, which is already taking an extra turn.
箱崎ち
Dash speed, combo, combo. Yeah. Gonna avoid using the D-pad as much as I can on the as well, I suppose. I'm still gonna have to use it in shops, so as soon as I get the glitch again, I am going to have to swap controllers regardless. I do need to use shop in chapter 4. But until chapter 4, I'll try and get away without having to use the D-pad too much. Okay, it was almost glitching there. I dropped an input while I was trying to go for a shot, but if I can just make it into the dungeon, it'll be alright. Let's see. Actually go back to you. I do need to start picking up healing pods, because unlike Rebirth 1 with DLC, I have no good healing items right now. You might have heard me say earlier that I picked up those 2 life fragments because those would be almost be the only ones I get. That is still true of other healing items like healing pods as well, so I really need to just raid these dungeons for whatever they have. Okay, so the healing scrubs, these are annoying enemies which can heal themselves, specifically the angels, and they have a lot of health, so even with my characters they won't die in one skill. I need to try and get 2 skills off on the same scrub as fast as possible, or use combos. They're lined up to use combos, so I'm going to try that. Got a few misses though, unfortunately. Okay, so hopefully I can kill them with... Yeah, I killed one, that's better than nothing. Okay, now I can just use skills to take out the remaining 2 enemies. Not too bad. Got a few misses. Both Chica, as you could see. So I wasn't able to quite finish both of them off. But they're both down pretty quickly still. A lot faster than any Rebirth 1 normal needs to. I'm going to adjust the headphones. Okay, now hopefully the headphones won't hit the mic cable as much because I've threaded them the other way. Still bumping around a bit on each other though. Hopefully that's not too loud on stuff. So we recruit Vert. We are going to use Vert eventually because, like I said, I was talking about how there's a power issue with the Oracles. They're not that strong in terms of killing things quickly at this point in the game. Okay, I got 4 healing pods there, so I don't need to pick up any more healing pods. Yeah, the Oracles aren't very powerful. Their XP drives are kind of mediocre because they don't have any debuffs. And while their strength stats are still quite a bit higher than the other characters for now, that's going to fall off around chapter 5. So the plan here is to use the Oracles for the rest of chapter 3 and then start phasing them out as I get better characters like Vert. Unless I set up Vert specifically to be in this battle and be paired with IF, she won't get level 25 until after R41. So I'm not going to use her until after the end of this chapter. Yeah, this fight will always gonna run out of SP basically. So, two combos. On the spell. Then R42 is a cakewalk, just a little slower. R43 can actually deal a little bit of damage to the party. She's the first boss that actually gets enough attacking stats to deal damage. I will go and grab the energy fragment even though it's a bit out of the way because it's a marathon run. The healing pod I'll do without though because I've already got 5 of them from the 2 sets I've picked up so far. That should always be enough. They're just useful in certain scenarios. So here's the energy fragment. And then I've got 2 life fragments and 3 energy fragments. That's really enough for her to... Also, one more of the position, but she moves in a good way on the path. Is there anything as annoying in this run as Slash Dog? Well, no. The Slash Dog is like... If I try to do Ancient Dragon with only the Oracles, then that is pretty comparable because it's a grindy slugfest. But I do have an alternate strategy for the Ancient Dragon using Vert. Yeah, like I said, Vert isn't actually level 25 yet, she's very close, but the forest level doesn't level her up to 25 unless she's in the party and has... has IF as her partner. I'm gonna use combos first, I forgot to upgrade my combos, I meant to upgrade my combos before entering. I'm just going to use some combos first, because I know I'm going to have to regardless. And we'll use the double tap the D-pad trick to move Nina's cursor onto R4 quicker. Okay, if the gameplay is louder than myself, then I'm going to turn it back down to volume 2. I thought that might be the case. Okay, we also got lucky there. She did Kinestra Slash, which is a one-shot on the whole party, provided she targets it on the middle person, which is the fastest possible fight. So now we have R43, or third winnable R4 fight. I'm going to have to use quite a few combos because I didn't set new combos. And you see that she did just a tiny bit amount of damage to K there. Not a lot, just a little bit. Okay, and I gotta use a D-pad trick to let these combo, but at this point K gets 1 extra skill, which does help a little bit. Yeah, just mash the square button until she's dead, shouldn't be too much longer, there we go. There would have been a few, like 2 or 3 fewer turns if I had set those combos. I'm going to set those combos before I do anything else in Chapter 4, just so that my menus are consistent with what my notes say. Because otherwise I'll get lost on some menu at some point. That'll look a bit weird having done that, but It'll fix things for sure. Make sure that the rest of the game goes smoothly. I always forget how many cutscenes are in each part. So let's do that now. So these two just get upgraded to their better power combo. That is Mina and Kay. Now I'm going to touch their combos on the next menu, but like I said, I just wanted to have my menus consistent with how I know how to do them, rather than trying to improv a new menu on the fly. Okay, so now we'll do some shopping. Life ring and studded bracelet. We need some armor for that. We'll put Chica in for that, and IF behind her. Put some rush combos on. Okay, it's the top. Yeah, Mina, it's the top one. I'm reading the wrong kind of combo, but I won't do all of that. So now we want to put on some poison combos as well. Oh, one more. So what I've done is I've set rush combos for everyone, and I've also set up poison EX skill finishes. EX finishes rather. Because the Ancient Dragon has a ton of health, but is also weak to poison. He's the last boss in the game that's worth poisoning, that you're able to poison. There were some earlier ones that are vulnerable to poison, but they weren't worth the effort. Plus we didn't necessarily have access to poison moves at the time. But it just so happens that this entire party can use poison moves, so I'm going to abuse them as much as I can. This is just the usual dragon as you might be used to in any Rebirth 1 category basically, except he does no damage to K in particular, so I can abuse that. He'll target K now. Vert has too much HP, so he always goes with Vert turn 1. But afterwards, he should go after K next. And K takes 0, so he will target K as long as he's not at low health. So I got the poison now, so now I can buff up and start going to EXEs. And also use a skill or two with Mina. And he died to the poison. Cool. What's that? So, Ancient Dragon, not too much of a deal if you have Vert on your team. It does take some extra menuing to set her up. You can get a somewhat comparable split time if you just use the oracles and use a ton of combos, but by the time that's all over with, you haven't really gained that much time, plus you would still have to set up Vert later anyway. Now we begin the easy Robot Gauntlet. In Rebirth 1 New Game, the original Rebirth 1, the jammers at the very end of the Robot Gauntlet are really hard, but in this game they're not. Because we have just enough defense to tank them correctly. But before we do that, we go through 3 killer machines which are easy no matter what category you play. We'll remove this and upgrade Mina to the slightly better rush combo. Remove Blan's break, set up her power, and set up her rush. And equip her with the life ring. How do we get into combos? Okay, okay so that's forward. Oh, hold on, one more thing. Combo for okay, I want to put that power free for later. Now we can go this. Yeah, so killer machines are ridiculously free fights in general. Just go ahead and rush as usual, and now that I've Blanc, she does 8 hits per rush combo, which is way better. Okay, I forgot to remove the X finishes. That was one thing I was meant to do. Do that at some point. I want to take back off those poison X finishes. Because they get in the way from now on. Okay, so I swapped controllers. We might have trouble with the charge on this one, but I'll just plug it in when I get another chance. And it's not on 0 charge yet, so it should still be okay. But yeah, now we shouldn't have to D-pad glitch anymore, although this controller's a bit less comfortable. Hopefully that's the last controller switch of the run. So that makes the kill machine slightly more eventful, actually having to do something. I also picked up a few healing grasses to use in menus. I'm going to use the healing pods in battles, but in menus I don't want to waste them, so just grab a few random grasses. And if you wonder why I mashed the X button a few times to try and buy them, it was because the D-pad had already broken. So I was just buying like 10 or so. Now we'll be good on those. And yeah, Blanc is just OP in every new game category. Even in this game she's really good. Even when she's faced with the competition of the Oracles. Now, there's one tiny thing about this game which is slower than the original Rebirth 1, is that the battles are considerably laggier, so I have to mash a bit more to get off my combos correctly, but it's not a huge deal. So Mages joins, we got another Killer Sheen, but I want to heal up Blanc first, so we'll use that healing grass level up. And on this fight we'll only rush one turn before we buff, because I start with some EXE from the previous battle. Just do this rush, just make sure this kills. It didn't quite kill anyway, but no huge deficit. And no one died. Not that I really would have cared if anyone had died anyway. Back here now. But I am going to go straight back to town quickly to grab the weapon. That just came into a shop for Vert. So we'll put that. Mina for combo. What was it? IF4K. Eco for combo. Vert for K. We've done that already, so we can just... So now this item gemmer and skill gemmer fight is coming up. Like I said, I don't have any problem with it, unlike base Rebirth 1. It's actually kind of nasty in both base Rebirth 1 categories, but in this game I have Kay and Chica who both have enough vitality to take 0 damage, so I can just use that, even though Blanc will take most of the hits anyway. Whenever the other two do get targeted, they won't take any damage. And I can just go ahead and use my power combos from Chica and Kay, along with rush combos from Blanc to dismiss this fight pretty quickly. I maybe should have gone around the other side of that spider, but you know, huge deal. So yeah, jammers are a joke. I basically just use them to build up EXE for the fake White Heart battle, which is considerably less of a joke. that fight can actually easily kill you on this category. Because you go into it expecting it won't be hard, and then it still is hard. Okay, so the gem is over here. That I want to target the skill jammer. You still target the skill jammer first. Okay, that's the only way I can take damage, is by being poisoned. Okay, unfortunately the jammer got stuck. I do not want it to get stuck in this category. You want it to get stuck in every other category. I still didn't... Oh no, Kate's meant to have it. Okay, it got unstuck, that's actually good. Because I don't want it to be defending when I kill the skill jammer. And it's stuck again. Okay, this is rather random. Guess we'll go over and target it so it unguards. Now, as usual, we switch out to Vert. Get some more combos. And finish off the item jammer and the self-defense system using Pyro Rig. So Vert and Blam will leave us temporarily. We're going to have to do the scrub fight without them, but I've lined it up so all 3 oracles appear. And sometimes they'll paralyze K, but they didn't. I'm going to try and get 2 of them with combos, but... Okay, there wasn't. I don't want to use my XE, I want to keep it for Fake Whiteheart so that I can just nuke Fake Whiteheart away. I don't have as much XE as I'd like, but I still have plenty. Yeah, the fights are a decent amount more laggy than Rebirth 1 Plus, than Rebirth 1, although everything else is faster. I mean, Ox said that there was some lag in the dungeons. I personally don't really see it, but there might be a little bit. Or it might just be the frame rate dipping without actually slowing down gameplay. Either way, the Nip Stampede kind of dominates the dungeons regardless. So, Fake Whiteheart is the first boss that can actually do reasonable damage to our oracles. So we're going to bring back Blan and Vert anyway, because at this point it doesn't really matter if I'm going to take lots of damage with the oracles. So go ahead and make Mina leader, K for Blan, and Vert for Chica, and Blan leader. So Mina actually just got her XE as well, for the record. And I wanted to target Blan turn 1, that's ideal. And this should kill. So yeah, Mina's XE is reasonably powerful. Doesn't have a debuff, so it's not as useful as the others. I'm gonna get rid of her pretty much straight after this fight, but it does the trick for that one battle. So now back to Planetune to end Chapter 4, which is a pretty decent Chapter 4. The only real time loss was me having to fix the controller issue. Otherwise the battles went pretty much as planned. Now, this might seem familiar to the New Game No DLC run from now on, because it ends up very similar for the next 2 chapters, and then we deviate a bit again, but you get a very similar Chapter 2. Chapter 5 and 6, rather. Hold on, okay, so Tech Pack, Cross Bracelet, Dragon Slayer, then we'll clear this event. So, like I said, we're going to get rid of Mina now, Noir gets put in, and IF behind Noir, and Copper behind Blanc. Our combos will set up Rapid Rush for Noir, because we haven't used Noir at all, we can just set our combos without having to do anything else. We can put on a new weapon, and that. And finally, don't forget to turn on Super XC Drive. There we go. Now we're set up for this chapter, which is identical to New Game without DLC. From Rebirth 1. And honestly, Rebirth 1, New Game with DLC would probably use this strat if it was a non-outdated run. Because Vert is just better than Plutia on this chapter by a little bit. But as it is, the current with DLC run uses Plutia on this chapter. So you just go for a completely normal chapter 5 and 6. Nothing to see here. Other than more next stampede. There's a teensy bit of RNG on what the crystal golems will do. They almost never separate enough for it to matter, but they might. That is something I forget exactly what they can do. Now we have Super XC Drive, we can build up the XC super fast. Oh, there is one guarding, so he might live. Yeah, he just barely lived. Cost a couple of extra seconds to finish off with skills. I guess if I had done the rush combos and the skills with it before attacking North Noir, I might have finished more. Without having to do stuff after, but it wouldn't have made a huge difference regardless. So we get the weapon for Neptune, but we don't need any of that. Just ignore it. Move straight on to this battle of Panzer Tank. So as usual, run up and do a combo with each of Noir and Vert. It will target Noir and Vert most of the time, it didn't miss. Interestingly enough. And then Noir buffs herself, Vert does one more combo. Noir does her EXP, now Vert buffs herself. She'll attack Noir once. Vert doesn't. We rush. Now we can kill. And we basically repeat that on the next two fights as well, apart from an intermission of one fight where we lose quickly. Hopefully quickly anyway. So yeah, unwinnable fight number 3 or 4 in this run. All of the unwinnable fights are actually unwinnable in New Game. In New Game Plus you win all of them unless you're doing no animation skip percent, in which case you can use compa rip strats to die to one of them. But in the New Game run you just die to all 4 of them because they're all actually reasonably strong. Unlike some other unwinnable fights in the Neptunia series. So Harvey joins, but again, ain't got time for that. This one I think only Noir outspeeds? Oh, okay. That does also outspeed. So yeah, that time we did get attacked. This guy's also very slightly further away, so I have to guard with Blonde once. So, just messed up a few inputs, but it's fine. Still gonna kill it easily enough. I think to use EXE with Vert like 2 more times than I actually did. But that fight has plenty of leeway because it's not a very hard battle. And it is chapter 5, all complete already. No problem at all. Easiest chapter in the game. Well, okay, chapter 8 is pretty much the same. in terms of difficulty, but at least has very slightly more variation. So chapter 6 is also a very easy fight, or an easy chapter, straightforward, relatively easy, but can troll you. Because we are using the no DLC characters, they're not invincible, far from it. You need to actually play it somewhat correctly. And not get completely trolled. Like, obviously I don't want Noir to get one shot when she gets attacked. And there is a chance of that. It's like maybe like 20%, maybe a little more. Oh, one more cutscene. Yeah, just don't get hit by enemies. Through the dungeon to reach. Okay, and because I don't have jumping stuff, I have to go a long way around here, which is about a 20-second time over what a New Game Plus run can do. Maybe not by that much, but a decent amount. Might be more like 10. Yeah, before we actually fight Momus, we have one unwinnable fight. And hopefully you get your whole party wiped, but that is so unlikely. I've never had it happen yet. Because one of them has an AoE attack, but that AoE attack isn't strong enough to kill Blanc. And if they do one-shot Blanc, then it's a single target attack. Yeah, like that. So they basically never one-shot your whole party because either Blanc lives or someone else lives because it was single target attacks. There is no realistic scenario where everyone dies in the first turn, unfortunately. It does happen very occasionally, I guess, if Fortune says it's happened, but it never happened to me while I was running this game. Okay, so now Momus is a fair bit scarier than anything the others could do, but still shouldn't be a huge concern. We'll lead off with Vit support. Okay, so now Noir will get targeted, so I need to separate her from Vit. Okay, I didn't get one shot. So, we'll have Blanc heal herself. I'll use both EXPs on this turn and then start running. Heal. Oh. Rush with you and heal you with Vit. I can reach. Just played it a bit safe there. Normally you only use one healing pod, but I used two just to make sure I wouldn't get someone dying. There we go, that's chapter 6. It's only one boss battle, so it's relatively quick, even compared to chapter 5, but it is a much more involved boss battle than anything in chapter 5 was. So we start this chapter with a wall of cutscenes, but eventually we'll get to the old usual path split thing, which is pretty common in Neptunia games, where you have to do one thing in each nation. We're going to do the nations in order of the way we went to them in the story initially, which is Planetune, List Station, Leanbox, Louis. That's the one game where Leanbox comes before Louis in the ordering, is Rebirth 1. Maybe also Vanilla, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But yeah, first, the whole party is going to leave, apart from Nep, Compa, IF, and the DLC characters. So So we'll buy a new weapon for Plutia of all people. And we'll recruit Histoire finally. We'll go ahead and equip some things, but not use them yet. New weapon and... And now this is where I can get wall screwed. Like the enemy can come closer to the wall than he could in Rebirth 1, and I can get hit, but he was a little delayed this time, so that's fine. Also, this is not going to be my party going into the battle, I'm just doing the menu in 2 halves. So no, I'm not going to use Histoire, IF and Compa for this battle. That would be a very bad idea. Histoire for Chica, Falcon for IF, Chica leader, Compa for Plutia. Now we can set up Best Rush. We haven't actually used Chica to rush before. How are you not... Oh no, that's right, you never get that. You never get your 62 just yet. And there we go. So, we've set Chica up to be the tank. She still takes a bit of damage though. So the problem with this fight is dual edge in general, otherwise not a big deal. So you want to abuse the fact that Plutia's weapon is massive to keep her as far away as possible. Play it extremely safe and line up a very far away position. She will get hit eventually. That's fine. She's not completely doubtful. And we'll finish her off with 2 XE, which is enough to take out Fake Purple 2. Although, I'm going to make my first save with the run before Fake Purple 2. Because Fake Purple 2 is very RNG based. And now we finally get some items that are better than healing pods. We get healing drinks. I'm going to go ahead and pop one of those onto Falcon straight away. At least once I reach the next compulsory menu. Yeah, we set up Chica as a relative tank. She's not that great as a tank at this point in the game, but she does the trick just enough. Make a save. Head for the boss battle. I'm also able to use a more stable party than you would in New Game No DLC, because in No DLC your characters keep leaving and going. I don't actually need those 5,000 items in battle, so... Okay, go ahead and buff these two while you rush. I'm also going to HDN Plutia in this battle so she doesn't damage, before doing it in the one. Gonna keep her well away though. Go ahead and... Okay, she did use something now too. Okay, down. I definitely benefited from having Plutia a long way away there because I think she used dual edge at least once. Okay, so now that we've gone through one nation, Histoire is finally well, not finally, it hasn't been that long, but Histoire is powerful enough to use. She's got a decent rush and she's got some health so that she doesn't immediately die. Yet she has really high defensive stats because of her gear, but she joins at level 1 so her health was like super low, meaning that she would have died anyway against the fake purple hearts if I took her there. But now that she is not level 1, she's about level 25 now, or a little higher, I am perfectly capable of using her from now on, and she is very good. She has an area buff, which buffs both strength and intelligence, that I can easily use on my whole party at the start of every battle. So apart from the very final boss, I will be using her on every fight from now on. The very final boss, it's better to use the no DLC party, despite Histoire being OP. Now Blackheart kind of targets randomly, so she can be a bit annoying in that regard. If she targets the wrong person. But we just kill her as soon as possible. There is no real reason to stall her. And CC2 will join, but no need to add her. Hug this wall so that hopefully the enemies here don't mess with me. And go into the real fake Blackheart fight. Now the general idea is to use Plutea's EC first all the time so that the enemy's mentality is debuffed, because there aren't any enemies left in the game that have debuff resistance. There were a few earlier on, but none now. And then I would use 2 more XEs out of either Histoire or Plutia. Histoire's is a little stronger, but only after I already applied the debuff with Plutia. So generally I want to use Plutia first, and then Histoire, and then either of the two to finish it off. And yeah, IF has never died, although she still can die on R41. I would just let her die if it was R41. Okay, Fake Green is still RNG based, so this is going to be my second save. Second and final save. Because Fake Green can still troll me. I also forgot to buy the skill seal items, so I'm definitely going to save. We should be able to make it work unless both Histoire and Plutia get skill sealed at once. But yeah, I was meant to buy some anti-skill seal items just now. And I've completely skipped over that by a minute, so this will be fun. If I get skill sealed, I'll have to wait and see. Definitely saving though. You do get away without getting skill sealed most of the time, but there is still a chance that you do get skill sealed. So same as versus the last couple of bosses, except I don't have EXE going in. Spread out, rush, use Plutia's EXE whenever we can, and then use either Plutia's or Histoire's from then on. And prefer Histoire's. Okay, Plutia got one shot? I think that's fine, really? Yeah, I think this is just going to be fine. There we go. Don't really care that Plutia's dead. Her level is not that important because I'm only going to use her for one more battle. And it's obviously going to be Fake Whiteheart. I'm not going to buy the reflexes anymore, obviously. But I will buy the other thing that I forgot to buy, which is one more rune bangle for later. So we'll just go ahead and use the Limlock shop to do that. Then we'll head off to Louis. Yeah, pretty smooth Fake Green Heart in the end. I do not care if either Chica or Plutia dies, and I don't care too much if Histoire dies, but Histoire is the least likely to die, so if she died then probably something went horribly wrong. And I probably am in danger of party wiping if she somehow dies. Like, her defenses are way higher than the other two at this point. And her health is high enough that she should barely ever die. But in any case, it didn't. I'm just speaking about hypotheticals. And now it's off to Fake Whiteheart. Without OP DLC characters, you would have to resort to guard breaking this boss. It's basically the only boss in the whole game that you guard break. By spamming Hard Break, since Hard Break has a stupidly OP amount of guard break damage it does. But with my two int-based OP DLC characters, no need for that. Just go ahead and charge straight in. Also, yes, there is another warning about V2R incentives closing at the end of this run. So we'll go ahead and do some rush combos as usual, unfortunately. Fun with and yeah, she was. Go ahead and use the far. And the performance skill. I'm probably getting a bit greedy here, let's go. I'm not going to die more with it. And there we go. That was a little off script. having both of them die, but game doesn't matter. It's just gonna mean I have slightly weird menus because Eastwar's gonna be leader already, which is actually what I want to do as the very first thing on the next menu, so it'll actually help out, but not in a predictable way. Yeah, I knew that even if Eastwar didn't get double turn there, I wasn't going to die to another hit, most likely, because Eastwar's OP defenses. Very unlikely that she was going to take 3k in one turn. Unless Blanc herself double turned, I suppose. But whatever, it's fine. Okay, so now we set up our party. Ludia, that's the end of you, and who else? Noir. Blanc leader, Broccoli behind Blanc, and BC2 behind Noir. And then we steal back these people's armor. Give Noir and the Rune Breaker. Now it's just Momus. Momus is free.
このブラックハートが直々に相手をしてあげるわ。司書として世界の歪みを見せ
Do that.
ね、死にたいのは誰？私で終わりに。やっと私の番ね。
Oh dang it.
司書として
Okay, well I can kind of abuse.
私で終わり。私の番ね。私の番ですね。いつでも行き。
Need one more XP
いつでも行き。
with someone that's not Blanc. That's Momus 2 down. And then same again for Momus 3, the final Momus. We'll type out the bed in
覚悟は
while
できてるか？
this fight fades in.
司書として世界の歪みを見。
Okay, so same again, XE doesn't carry over.
いつでも行けるぜ。やっと私の番ね。
Okay, this time I actually got enough XE to get there.
私で終わりに。私の番ですね。いつでも行
Hopefully this put people on.
死にたい。
Hopefully he dies, he didn't quite
い
die.
つでも行けるぜ。
But Blanc's weapon is OP enough so I'll be able to use this skill from her to end it. Okay, final chapter. ST does speed up things just a little bit with that buff, and XE is also roughly as powerful as Noir's as soon as Noir uses Infinite Slash once. But that will be Hiswar's last appearance. We're going to set up the New Game No DLC party for the final boss. At least once I get my hands on Neptune's OP weapon. Yeah, no more controller problems after I change controllers, so I'll probably just use this controller to run this game from now on. I'd forgotten about the whole D-pad problem with my other controller. Which is annoying, because I do prefer the other controller, but this one is fine. We're gonna mash to get the weapon, and then one more cutscene where we stick all the weapons in the walls. Okay. Now Neptune time and Falcon behind Neptune for ignore category. We want the new weapon, we want the trapezo heater, bottom accessory, and for Noir we want the other. Oh, I do need to do combos. Do that now. And because I haven't been using Neptune the whole game, I can just set air rush combos without removing anything as well, so easy enough. Just gotta avoid the spider, take a wide path around him. And head through the road to Celestia to the end. We should still be sub 110, just barely. By like 30 seconds or so. Chat to Isaiah, unfortunately I got hurt. I'm not much of anymore now. I guess what we'll do is we'll go DT here on this battle. They're not going to do too much damage because I've got OP here.
さっさと終わらせましょう。私の番ね。
This will be interesting regardless.
さっさと終わらせましょう。邪魔よ。私の番ね。
Do some of it is
ネップネ
special.
プにしてやんよ。さっさと終わらせましょう。あ、こんなもんネップネプに。
Okay, that was a bit weird. Unfortunately, I took a risk on the path and got hit. Alarms are slightly low enough, but shouldn't matter. I also have some XE going in, so I'm going to kill it earlier, which should make up for some of the time loss. Not all of it, but some of it. The R4 starts really far back, and we actually outspeed her with our main two characters, so turn 1 is always going to be a strength buff on both of them, and she'll probably attack one of them, and we'll just go ahead and rush it 2 times, build up with 4 XE, and
私で終わりにし。貴様に聞いて。死にたいのは誰なの？
kill her now
決めさせてもらう。
with HP skills.
破れるというのか。
Okay, last boss coming up. Yeah, it should still be sub 110, just barely.
あなたに私の相手が務まる。
Okay, same deal. She isn't quite as far back as she was last time, but it's still better to
私
move
の
up
番ね。
a tiny bit first.
いつでもいけるぜ。私の番ね。私で終わりに。相手は誰？私で終わりにしてやる
I've got so much XP I'm going to use
決
one
めさせて
from
もらうわ。
Bond.
いつでもいける。死に。
There we go, time. Yep, just still barely sub 110, so GG everyone. That is Rebirth 1 plus, new game. And that is the end of the V2R incentive, so we will be playing the Japanese version and we will not be narrating on stream or watching the credits. If you do want to see the blind stream narration, we actually did that in the last marathon for V2. So it's not the hugest of losses, but still a shame regardless. Okay, so we'll watch the credits to make up the time on the estimate, and also to give me a bit of time to set up for the next run. And then it will be time for V2R.
Code is ready whenever you are.